Hey Star Elites, we are back with another one. Now in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you should prepare and build for Hilda, because she's going to be our first Instinct Ranger coming up in Season 4 of Chaos Zero Nightmare, Shattered Claw, and whatnot. Oh, I forgot the rest of the title. I'm so bad. But, yeah. When it comes to building her, I have Barrel as my hanger, essentially, for most of my characters coming up, and I already have a preliminary build ready for Hilda when she's going to release next season. But of course, when we're referring to Hilda, I am, of course, referring to, of course, this character here, Hilda, who's thick. If you guys have seen the AX animations of her, she's quite thick, and I can't wait to pull her personally. But yeah, when it comes to building her, what you're gonna need is going to be a decent gear set. It doesn't have to be perfect now, because you'll continuously reform it over time to get the stats that you want or are satisfied with. I recommend always going with at least 50% crit chance if you can manage it. The 160% crit damage bare minimum, and then if you can get Instinct Goblet, you can go for that as well and get as much extra damage on top of that as you can possibly get. The more the better, but you always want to balance out the stats so that you have at least this much crit to start off with pre-potentials. As you can see, my barrel has 1 level onto her crit chance potential, which means it just removes 2 of here, and I'll have 48% crit chance for my Hilda before leveling up her potentials. So that means I have up to 58% crit chance on my Hilda pre-potential levels. It's gonna be great. After max potential, it's gonna be 58% for my Hilda on this 222-piece set. And crit damage goes up by 12, while crit chance goes up by 10, so yeah, there's 8% here that I'm missing, so it'd be 58. And then you'd pretty much add like 12 to the crit damage from the potential side here, as you can see. 4.8. 2.4 is removed, so literally removes a 2.4. That makes the character's calculations easy to know when it comes to crit and how much of it you'll have. But more importantly, when it comes to Hilda's actual gear fragments that you might want to look out for, 2-piece crit damage and 2-piece attack are always going to be a great go-to, just for general building of any character in CZN. But besides that, you might want to really take a look and note of increased damage dealt to target inflicted with agony by 10%. This set is going to be very heavily used this season, I speculate, for like a bunch of characters that want to cost like 2-piece sets. This is going to be one of the best 2-piece sets that come this coming season, and I definitely recommend crafting a couple of pieces of this just in case you want to use DOT experimental builds for damage over time, as that's going to be a main gimmick of the next season. It's going to be agony and DOT, including Scorched. Those are the 2 new effects that we're going to have. And these are the sets I have. I got lucky on the rolls here, as you can see. A bunch of extra damage in the subs, a bunch of crit chance here, a little crit damage from this guy here, and it's very good extra damage. Now, the only thing that you can see I'm lacking is pretty much attack percentage in there, but it's not the biggest deal, right? I'll still have what I want primarily, which is all that other damage bonuses. My prerogative when it comes to building a character in CZN is making sure that I have at least 50 over 160. When it comes to crit, attack as much as possible, elemental damage if it needed, and then extra damage for a ranger. Goated stuff to have as much as possible, as much as you can possibly get. Pre-save data gear, like not this, but let me see here. Go to Selena. You'll have this item here, which is going to give you extra damage. So even before you have this, you'll already have some extra damage percentage to use, which is going to be great. So yeah, that does make things a lot easier. And because Hilde is a ranger unit, she can benefit from Season 3 save data, which is indicated by this music symbol here. And it has this item in that season, which is very good. Because now I'm going to get into save data recommendations for what you should get equipment-wise. I would definitely recommend, obviously, that 35% extra damage weapon from earlier, as well as this Mask of Emotions here. What this allows you to do is gain 2 resonance for the attacker 3 times in 1 turn. And I suspect Hilde will be able to use this very easily, as she is a ranger class, much like Selena here. And this on card discard gives you 80% extra attack. This is pretty good, as you'll have characters that can allow you to do that very easily, alright? And one such character that you might want to pair with Hilde, when she releases, is going to be, of course, the GOAT himself, King Cassius over here. This guy does it all. He gives you draw, he does damage, he gives you more cards back that you can use to draw back other cards. He also boosts your team a lot, and he discards cards as well, making that Mask of Emotions possible to use on him as well. Now, in this draws 3, cost of those cards is 4 or less, discard them. This is very good for many reasons, as it's the only epiphany that he has for this card without a divine, that's going to cost 0 and also draw 3 at the same time while discarding and not be exhaust, because exhaust cards automatically leave your hand and you can use it for the rest of the battle. So it's best to not have exhaust as a key tag on the card, which is going to help a lot. That is one of my recommendations. Besides that, you're also going to have double dice here, which is going to be one of his main cards to the epiphany and get divines on. Is going to be this double dice. What you're going to look for is this epiphany here, which is basically his baseline epiphany with a gain 2 morale bonus as a common epiphany. And then you're going to have reduced cost as a divine, so that it's 0 cost instead of 1, which it normally would be otherwise. And then when it comes to Popeye Popper here, it's going to have many different versions, but I would recommend this version, which you can get rather easily, either for re-rolling it or getting it into chaos right away, like I happen to have gotten. Starting the 1 out of 4 quests, randomly create a quest card, remove the ephemeral, and apply retain. What ephemeral does is pretty much make it so you have to play that card in that turn, or otherwise the card goes away. But with this retain, replacing the ephemeral, you can keep it for the next turn, which is so goated that I would go for this epiphany every time now that I know that it exists, as I started experimenting with Cassius last season. This was the build that I went for, and it was peak. Absolute peak. Okay, this dice upgrade, when using a quest card, heal 100% and 100 fixed damage to a random enemy. After using this upgrade, this will happen literally every time he uses a quest card that he creates, which is why it's so goated to have this, because all these are quest cards. And every time he generates these, and you can see the conditions to create them, he's going to do free damage and free healing for the entire team every time. You complete the quest, you get the damage card versions, or draw card versions, as they will have draw, as you can see. So that's how that's going to work, and he's going to be a very powerful teammate for her, especially on the build that I have here, which I haven't gotten lucky last season. Got this Order Baton, because he keeps creating all his quest cards, he's going to have 20% increased damage, so he can deal damage, he can push back enemies with this Torture Toolbox, and then he can also further get more debuffs on the enemies. 1 mark or 1 vulnerable. And as you can see over here to the side, as when you click this question mark symbol here, magnifying glass, you're going to see what those effects do. As you can see, vulnerable does damage taken increases by 50%, and then decreases after that damage action has been dealt. And then when an attack card is used, 100% extra damage, extra attack, Tenacity damage equal to 0 cost cards. So it doesn't really do too much tenacity damage, but it does do 100% extra attack, which means you're going to get benefits if you have stats like extra damage from your potentials, or no, your fragments. Exactly, this stat here is going to be so crucial for a character like Hilde, but it can also be used on Cassius as well, as he does extra attacks. As for Cassius's build, it's very simple. You're going to want this set here, because his quest cards are exhaustible. When you have this set here, this 4-piece, which gives you when an exhaust skill card is created or used, increase damage amount of allies by 5, max of 15%. If you have this on like 2 healers on the team, you can pretty much use this and get a 30% boost, which is already nice, but even just 15%, or even the 5 and stacking it over time is already good enough. Doesn't matter how many of this you can have, just having it is good enough. And since Cassius creates exhaust cards, which are his quest cards, because once you use them, they burn away and you can't use them again until you create another one, this is a perfect set for him. I came up with a character like Typhera, which I do have, who's also going to be another good teammate for Hilde. I know I went a bit all over the place, so I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, overall the build is very simple for Hilde. As far as teammates, you're gonna want to look into characters that can provide either card draw, more AP, more buffs, or just debuffs as well. Those are all options, all viable, and I will test them all when I get the chance after pulling her, because I am looking forward to getting Hilde and her fixed self. So, yeah. When it comes to my Typhera, if you do have Typhera, I would recommend definitely taking a look into building her for more Quantum Seed. Get a Quantum Seed with as much creation of these archetype cards, which will heal draw or gain more AP. As archetype, Square will always draw one out of the triangles or circles. It's just a cycle card for these two, so that's why having this create 30 versions, having 4 of it, is going to create like 9 to 12 of these cards in the draw pile for you to use and draw out with the square. So that's going to be very handy. You can also have this here, Form Convergence, which will draw 2 of those set archetype cards that are created in the draw pile, and then double its effect, which is very good. And you get gain 2 morale here, which is very nice. So you get 40% damage boost for your attack, which is very good. And then you also want this here, which is going to be an upgrade. It's gonna, when 3 archetype cards are created, which is going to be created automatically through that Quantum Seed, it's going to apply Retain to those cards, so they can be used for the next turn, or used right away. So that is what that is. It's a pretty good thing to have. This deck I also created for last season, which is also going to deal with some DOT damage with this card here for some little extra damage. You probably won't even use it most of the time, but it is going to be there. It's going to be nice to have. It does also provide another 2 morale, so that's pretty good. Also have this Persona here, 24% damage. A card that was created this turn, which Typhera does a lot of, with this type of save data. Increases damage by 50%. And Lux Engraving gives 30% damage for each Lux Engraving, and as you can see I have several Lux Engravings. So yeah, this card does a good amount of damage for Typhera, so she can do DPS as well. I will test Typhera with Hilde as well as Cassius. As you guys know, his save data is like this. Now, why do I rave up Cassius? Go in. Because he can use this card here, which is a lead upgrade card called Explosion of Emotions. When 4 cards are discarded, gain 1 AP, 1 time per turn. With gain 2 ego points. It's like another epiphany I got on top of it. You will get this for that turn immediately, and then you'll get this effect every turn preceding that. Well, afterwards. And then this is going to be so good because it feeds into his shuffle card, because his shuffle card has several epiphanies with exhaust, which will burn the card away, and so you can't use it for the rest of the battle or that fight. So yeah, and this is the only epiphany without the exhaust key tag on it, and it's going to allow you to draw 3 cards from your draw pile. Because of those cards are less than 4 or less, you pretty much discard all of them, and that will feed back into this card, giving you AP, which is very good because that's the card that, like, type of item, like, skill point that you need to play out your cards, like this, which is another Persona card which I have. So draw 1, and when the type of card is drawn, give you 2 morale, which, as I explained earlier, is 40% damage boost for the next attack that's going to be used. Gain 1 Blessing of Light, which is yet another buff. As you can see, Blessing of Light, 28% damage boost. Gain and heal shield. So all these effects get just an inherent 20% boost by using this Persona card. It's very nice. And then you get more pushback for the enemies by 3. On top of the toolbox here, which is going to be pushing them back at the start of every turn by 3, so that's a pushback by 6. So you'll have extra breathing room to act for your team. And if I did explain it earlier, or maybe not, each time you create a card, he's going to have free damage boost for himself, which means you can build a card on him and it'll still be of some value. Which ain't bad, because he's going to create a ton of these quest cards repeatedly, because of how they trigger, as I explained earlier. As you can see, the conditions are on these here. But yeah, he's going to do damage, so you're going to want to have crit on him as well, at least 46. As close to 50% as possible. The crit damage on a supporter like him doesn't matter too much, you can only get so much. The more important part is to make sure that whatever crit damage you have can crit, so get closer to that as possible. You want as much defense as you can get as well. After all, healing in this game is based around the defense. So as you can see, well, you can't see it here, but it is absolutely focused on your actual defense stat. So if we go here, as you can see, healing. Comes health based on defense, depending on the heal amount, reduce 1 to 6 stress is also a very nice feature to have when healing a ton. So that's very nice. But yeah, those are just 2 teammates. Hilde will have a lot more options, which I will speak about next for you. Because you may want to play her with like other characters, like Adelheid, if you did manage to grab her. She's going to be a great support who can also do a bunch of draw as well and work well with Cassius or any other teammate, but mainly for this one purpose here. She can draw you 2 cards, give you AP back, and you can have 4 of these cards and have a really low cost deck, as all these cards will be upgrades. So all she's going to be doing is drawing 2 and giving you AP back by 4 if you have 4 copies of this, like this deck here, which is insane. It's literally 1 cost, actually a 0 cost deck after you play all the upgrade cards, because upgrade cards you use them once and then they're active for the rest of the battle. So as you can see, this deck is a very quick deck to use. You get a bunch of AP, a bunch of draw, and it's going to cycle because of how her cards work. And then you'll have the stockpile here, which is going to allow you to save up AP at the start of the fight when you have a high costed card. So for the first turn, you'll have this effect available. And then at the start of the turn, to weaken to the target, which is part of Season 3's engraving system, you have 1/2 card discarded for an ability, which Cassius will do. Draw 1 Quietus card, which doesn't really matter for a team with Hilde, as they most likely won't be using any of the actual quietest mechanics, as we all know, or you may not be aware of. Season 4 will have this new card gimmick called Desire Cards. And what Desire Cards are these? These cards that allow you to put Agony on various debuffs like Scorch, and have several key terms like Claim here, which is very focused on damage over time, or there's Inquiry as well as Control. So you have a deck like this, Control, as you can see, and you can stack this up. It can be Control, Claim, or Inquiry. And Season 4 will also add Survival, which is another gimmick, but they didn't tell us about too much because they're saving that for next season. But what Control does is stated here on the site as always, thanks to when you enhance the card, you get the extra description. But yeah, when you have 3 of these Control category here, you can see on the other card that I showed off with Mika, you will get 1 Agony on the target whenever that enemy acts. If you have 5 of this, and since it spreads across your teammate, every teammate will have 1 of these persona cards at level 3 each, and you'll have a different combination depending on what you pick, but you're gonna try to boost this number up as high as possible. So Control at 3 stacks across your team will give you 1 Agony every time the enemy acts after you play this card. At 5, you get 5% crit chance for each enemy present, which is really good. 7, Control. When Control card is used, gain 1 Control Desire for each stack. And if that reaches 10 stacks, you're gonna make 1 of these cards again, and then it's gonna give you more damage. I have yet to activate it because I haven't completed a deck with it, but overall, it's a very good mechanic so far. It may not seem super powerful right now in the current preseason, but you have to remember that Survival is another key term which is coming up, and I suspect that may be where all the power is hidden. So they're storing away all the extra power of these Desire cards for next season, so it's good to get acquainted with these first, which is sort of what they wanted us to do. Napalm effect is applied to the enemy, like Vulnerable or DOT, or Agony in this case is called DOT. So DOT is called Agony and CZN, Chaos Zero Nightmare, so that's how that is. It's going to apply one morale, so you're going to get a 20% damage boost 2 times, which is another 40% damage boost. So if you go for Claim, it's the like buffing version, but that's just 3 stacks of Claim, which as you saw in my Mika, she had that. But here, you can have 5 stacks. This increases your DOT amount by 20%. At 7 stacks, when a card is used again, a Claim card is used again, which Desire stack, when Claim and Desire reaches 10, create one Desire manifestation of Claim. So that's how that works. Inquiry is similar as well, and it's going to give you 3 stacks, apply 1 random effect between Weak and Vulnerable, or Agony. So 1 out of 3 times per turn. So it is randomized there, but you'll get 1 out of 3, or all 3, or a combination of the 3. That's how that's going to work. At 5 stacks, you get a 30% chance to draw 1, which ain't bad. At any point, you can end up drawing something. It is random, but it's not bad. Inquiry. When an Inquiry card is used, 1 Inquiry Desire for each stack. As you can understand by this point, 10 stacks gets you a manifestation of that card, which is going to have all the effects applied to it. I presume, as I have yet to fully test this, because I don't have it fully built out yet for any character yet, as a team. But I will be focusing on getting these Desire cards with Hilde when Season 3 drops. For Season 4, as this is the new symbol, Shattered Claw. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. And this is our character Faye, who's the pre-season character. who you may be aware of or may not be aware of for those of you guys new to CZN. So yeah, I know I remember quite a bit, but I hope for you guys, you understand. But you can also build a character like Mika for Hilde if you don't have a Neo or Cassius yet. You can always build her generally. You can go with like 3 sources of water here with 1 morale. This is a possible epiphany here. You can go for divines, but you won't have as many cards as I will here. And I went for a rare utility-focused Mika, who's going to give a bunch of AP, a bunch of draw, and a bunch of healing. As well as some agony, thanks to this card here, Gilded Nest, which is a Never Desire card of Claim 3, as I said earlier. Every harmful effect possessed by the enemy. 60% shield up to a max of 300% shield. 6 agony, 6 scorched. Agony's the DOT effect is going to be 50%, and then Scorch is going to be 80% when the action count of the enemy has advanced. So every time the enemy's action count gets closer to 0, it's going to tick for 80%, and then Agony will perk at the end of the turn after that. When you end a turn, Agony will take effect. While the enemy is moving to hit you, Scorch will take effect. So you're getting a very nice damage bonus over here. So that's actually insanely good. And Mika can use cards like Rally to push back enemies more so they can keep moving forward and back. So you get a bunch of usage out of Scorched. So this is going to be a really good card to put on Mika, as everybody will have Mika early on. This is just, I believe she's given out for free as well. So if you want to build a similar Mika to mine, it's very easy to do. Blessing of Waves here will heal and inflict some damage for free for you based on how much you healed to a random enemy. Source of Water, as I explained, will give you AP and morale. This is how I built her, just to be overnight. And we'll have Tactical Analysis here. It's going to give you 2 waves, and when you get 3 waves, as you can see here, it's going to give you 1 AP back, which is your skill points in this game. And what they lose or upgrade, mythic card, or purple card you can say, is going to do is going to be an upgrade card which you play once, and every turn it's going to give you 1 wave, and you're going to give you 1 wave when playing it immediately. But every other turn after that, it's going to give you 1 wave again, and as we said, once you get 3 waves, you're going to get AP back. So by having 2 tactical analysis here with 2 wave, you're going to get 3 wave every time, and you're going to get an AP every time you play tactical analysis with Mika. That's how this deck is going to work. AP generator Mika. Without needing to rely on epiphanies on Source of Water that give a ton of AP, you can focus instead of giving yourself morale for your team with the Source of Water, which is very nice utility to have on a Mika like this, who's going to be focused for next season. You're of course going to have Reorganize, which is going to draw 3 for you once, I guess, every once in a while when it's available. And then you're going to also get an AP from it, so it's basically a free card, which allows you to play something else while getting 3 cards back in hand, while Rally will draw 1. So there's also that. Now, when it comes to like save data equipment, what you're gonna want to look out for, since I'm pretty sure 99% of the case of the planet that we're going to have is going to be Instinct, or the animal planet with a bunch of insects in it, is going to be this type of gear here, Yellow Planet, which you can find in Zero System. On Ravage, we get 60% fixed shield, right? This is a very good item. And then for your Sustainer type units, you're going to want 15% attack. This is pretty good. Max HP increase of 10% is also good. This can also be put on your DPS, I guess, if you couldn't find anything good and you just happen to have gotten this. It's okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. It is still providing 15% attack increase with an HP increase as well, which ain't bad. And for Mika, that's pretty much fine. As for some reason, if you did unlock this, it doesn't really have anything to do with it. But I believe it's just there to be there at this point. After all, she just has this attack increase for some reason. So maybe there is a benefit to having some attack. Mika's ego recovery is greater than 40. Increase the heal amount of source of water exceeding 40, an additional 2% to that modifier. So that has nothing to do with attack, so Mika, for whatever reason, just builds attack for the sake of doing DPS. And her card that does DPS the most is going to be this Whirlpool, which most of the time, if you're just building her for support, you will usually remove. But as you can see, she has options that can do decent damage. It's not going to be massive, but it's decent, I suppose. And I have experimented with a deck for that as well. I have a DPS Mika deck. Not this one, but this one here, where I have 2 sources of water, but they're going to do damage and agony. And agony is going to be a massive focus for Season 4, according to those desire cards, as you know. So, there's a lot to look forward to there. I believe I've explained to you why Hilde is going to be easy to build. Some of her best teammates you can use day 1 if you have them. You can also use characters like Narja. Of course, you can always play with 9 as the carry. You can play with characters like Yugo, who does coordinated attacks. So, he's also going to be an option. It's not the best idea yet, but it's an option. Mainly focus on the cards of that day. Hilde will work with characters like, well, not Diana, I'm not sure yet, but I will be testing which character she works with in depth when she releases on stream, so you guys can catch my Twitch streams if you want to see more of that live, because I will try to stream daily for the duration of her banner and future characters of CZM. So yeah, there is that. But you're gonna want draw, you're gonna want damage debuff application, which means Hilde could potentially work with characters like Trissa, who, with a deck like this, can shine pretty good. We're gonna have Season 3 Trissa decks here, with the Persona effects. So this is a really good Trissa build here, which you can have. These all benefit her for the most part, so it's not bad. So yeah. This is an ideal Trissa Persona card which you would want if you're going to build Hilde or any of the Season 3 upcoming Season 4 characters that are upcoming. Instead of building for desire cards, if they do focus on DOT, you can build for this as well if you manage to get it. So this does damage based on how much agony the enemy has, so this will help your Trissa if you don't want to go for a Season 4 build. This is actually going to be a powerful Trissa build. It's really effective. I cannot state that enough. It's so effective that even if I wanted to build a Season 4 deck for Trissa, it's still not going to top the damage output of this deck. So that is what it is. Until we figure out what Survival does, this will remain Trissa's best build if you want to ever play her in Season 4, alongside a character like Hilde or upcoming Arabella or Olga. Will all be coming afterwards. So yeah, there are options. As for other teammates you can play with Hilde, I guess we'll find out soon enough. There's Khalip who's going to be shielding you as well as doing her own damage. Also draw a little bit with this card here, which can be Epiphany for more draw as well. Or more damage overall, more buffing, as I do have different builds here. Now, one thing to note about Hilda is she is going to be an instinct ranger unit, as I stated earlier in this video for you guys. And what that means is, if we take a look at instinct characters, one archetype thing that you'll notice is instinct characters tend to either create something or do a bunch of AoE damage. And what a ranger unit does, like a barrel, is extra damage, or Yugo even, and then they also do a bunch of draw. As you can see in the actual breakdown of their role here, when it comes to ranger class, focus on providing draw support, and then extra damage suppression. And of course, you also have the element system here, which is usually focused on doing AoE damage or creation of something, as you know. Hugo has his draw support capability as well as coordinated attacks. But then there's characters like Kali, who's instinct, Hilde. She does a bunch of AoE damage, so instinct characters always have at least that one card that has potential to do AoE damage, sort of like this Ultra Ejection. So that is a constant. As for Nia, she has an AoE Ego skill. Characters like Narja, despite being a healer, has a card that is called Mealtime, which will do AoE damage as well. So as you can see, there's some card in an instinct character's kit that either creates something or does something that allows you to get a lot of damage out of them. So whether that be AoE or be multiple instances of damage, you're gonna have a card like that. That's very good. And if they're not doing AoE damage and just regular instances of damage, you're probably gonna have draw somewhere in there. Or you can get it in your divines as well. But yeah, overall, you have many options to go with when it comes to Hilde. Now, I could make this video a lot longer, of course, for you. What you do need to know about the Zero system is there is another planet you can go to if you're not doing the seasonal planet right away. It's called Twin Star Shadow, as you can see here. This is going to be another great planet for Hilde and upcoming Season 4 characters. As the Season 4 planet will be a clone of this planet, most likely. So you're going to see similar equipment to this gear here. All these different various types of gear, but can only be found in this type of planet, will all be present, and that means you can get this toolbox to push back enemies. It's great. Ignore this as it's trash, and I would never recommend this. This is meh as well. This is good, and might be great on Hilde, so you might want to look out for this. This could also be an option, I guess we'll find out. This is another great option here. It's going to increase your damage against broken enemies, which is easy to do for the most part. This is just a stat stick. Just a ring ahead on Mika. This will give you 2 immunity at sort of battle, which is alright. But when you have strong enough dex, that means nothing for the most part. This curse spell here, when you have status element or like ailment cards that enemies will throw at you in your hand and like try to brick you, this will just give you free healing. This is going to be a massive item pickup for Season 4. This is going to allow you to deal more agony to the attacker every time they attack you. You're going to inflict them with more DOT stacks, and DOT stacks up to a max of 10 stacks. 10 to 20 stacks, you know. So, since agony maxes out at 20 stacks, this is going to help you reach that 20 faster. Just going to do multi-hit here with 5% chance. This is going to do agony on a 50% chance if you crit. So this is going to be another great item to look out for. I recommend if you can manage to get this ring on your entire team for the season for the most part, or at least 2 to 3 characters in the team, you're going to stack up to 8 agony on the enemy after they hit your team, so this is a great item. Definitely a mainstay of the season. This one is alright, but it would have been better if it was 100%. When I get it, it'll be better than the Crimson Sword by every metric, and would be thus a mythic item, tier quality item. But they didn't want to do that, so they hindered it by making it a 50% chance. Because otherwise this would be so good. With that ring, it would be insane. This stat gives you a Mia evasion, which is a rare thing to have in this game, as this is probably one of the only items in the game that gives you this evasion, which means you dodge the enemies. There's another green robe item that does evasion as well. That was from the Season 2 planet. But yeah, be like that. Of course, we also have this item here, all about agony, as you can see. And since we know that Desire cards are already based around agony, it's most likely going to be a yellow planet. So yeah, that's how that's going to work. But I won't keep you guys from here too much longer. That's just a very intense, a very in-depth look at what you can expect to have for Hilde, and I hope this helped you make a decision of how you want to go about building her, as she's going to be built very similar to this. She might have a new fragment 4-piece set, so in case that does happen, you can always just go for 2-piece crit damage, 2-piece attack. It's always a safe choice. Mainly 2-piece crit damage to have that in advance. So that's always going to be a great idea. So yeah, those are options that you can do to have Hilde. Now, as a bonus, I'm gonna give you guys a little look at what to expect from her animations, as we did have a little preview from AX. Alright, here we go. A little glimpse of what Hilde can do. Look how thick she is. Yeah. She's gonna have a plasma beam. She's also gonna have a bow and arrows, gonna do multi-hit. So yeah, that is going to be Hilde's animation. As you can see here in the X, it's not complete yet, but it is looking nice already. So that is going to be Hilde, our first character of Season 4, and I hope you guys are also looking forward to her as I am. I am already prepared for her, okay? So you will see me summon her, and it's going to be great. I have 64 pulls essentially ready, so I am ready for Hilde. My body is ready. 8 more days to go. So yeah, that will be it for me for now. If you like more content like this, do make sure to check out my other videos, as I will see you guys there.